Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? Happy New Year. It is the first trading day of 2025, January 2nd. JTW here with another Xtrades FOMO live stream. I'm just trying to see, for some reason, my YouTube connection is not responding. It's acting super weird. So let me see if I can get this straightened out real quick. End stream. Looks like I'm live there. All right, it says we're live, so I think we're good. We should be good on both Discord and YouTube. If you guys who are watching on YouTube could just give me a thumbs up, say hello, make sure that I know the connection's good over there. It looks like it is, but I just want to double check. So anyway, good morning. It is 2025. Let's dig into our first live stream of the year. Hope everybody had a safe and happy New Year's holiday. So we kind of talked a little bit on Tuesday about, sort of, or one of the questions I feel like we got quite a bit or talked about a little bit was, kind of what are the expectations for the first quarter of 2025? My take on that was let's wait and see kind of how things open today, knowing that, end of year trading a lot of time involves a lot of tax loss harvesting and that sort of stuff. So, and low volume. So we may not be seeing, the real story of what's going to be happening with the markets by making judgments based on that type of price action. So now that we're into 2025, we're seeing a gap up this morning, at least on SPY. Futures have bounced from our most recent low there. And continue to push higher. Going to run into a little bit of turbulence, some headwinds there, right around the 6,000 mark on ES with the 200 SMA here on the hourly. Bearish flag on Neptune, kind of all coming down overhead there. So that's kind of going to be a key level to watch, at least in the short term, to see if we can't break through that. If we do, I wouldn't be surprised to see things try to continue higher. And maybe push for this 60.53 to 60.68 range. That'll be the next big test. And then if we can break through that, I think we can start to see the market continue to push and try to turn bullish and push. Well, we're already pretty decently bullish, generally speaking, and in the bigger picture. But I think things really start to look bullish if we can break through that little confluence of resistances to get things kind of moving higher as we kick off 2025 and start to move through the month of January. So, overall, things are looking positive. I think we've got a couple of challenges on the near horizon, is the long story short there. But, I think that those are challenges that can be overcome, especially on the hourly time frame here. So we could see this continue to push higher and try to start 2025 off with another leg up and potentially at least a retest of current all-time high levels. So, keep your eyes on that. I am still kind of generally bullish, knowing that we do have a couple of key tests here coming up, but excuse me, big picture, I'm not seeing a lot that changes my mind about the market ultimately still being kind of in buy the dip mode. So what's up, Chris? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Apologies if I sound a little hoarse or a little hazy. Was watching the Ohio State Oregon game last night and maybe yelled a little too much. So my voice is a little tired this morning. All right. So with that being said, let's dig into our trade plans that we worked on Tuesday. Again, kind of with a word of caution there, knowing that everything was going to be low volume. Price action was maybe going to be a little, what's the right word for it? Probably price action was going to be a little bit unreliable is probably the right word for it. Knowing that, all that tax loss harvesting and whatnot was still going on as we closed out 2024. So that being said, we did do a trade plan for Rigetti Computing. This is a quantum computing company I think Unknown Reviews put this one on the, yeah, Texas, Arizona State was crazy. I can't believe they came back and went into double overtime. And then, that last pick against Arizona State sealed the deal for Texas. But yeah, I would say Texas looked to me like they dodged a bullet. So, ticker request, huge rally in the after. Oh, I didn't know Roaring Kitties getting involved with what is that? Unity software, I think. Yeah, we'll put that on the watch list or the trade plan list for this morning. So going back to Rigetti, again, looking like it's trying to break down. It's looking like it's opening up room to the downside, but it's already reclaimed some of those key levels, especially that 1596, and it seems to be holding pretty well here. Over 1751, it looks even better, and I think continues to push higher. So we may have seen a little bit of a fake out to the downside with some of that low volume tax harvesting type price action that we kind of, talked about on Tuesday's live stream. So this one may wind up turning around and trying to make a push back to the upside, just based on kind of some of those, broader market factors with end of the year and all that going on. So Rigetti definitely gave us confirmed entry to the downside. Stop loss is still in place. So watch 1711 for potential resistance and an opportunity to average down on your trade. If you're upside down on this one, or if you took an entry on Rigetti for the downside on Tuesday. And then Archer Aviation, we also did on Tuesday's live stream. This one also giving us signals for a downside trade, but again, still in that end of the year tax loss harvesting, low volume type of price action. So, maybe a little bit of an unreliable breakdown, but we'll see how this one plays out here in the near future. Still below the stop loss average down there at 1035. Also still has a nice confluence there at 1035. So again, another opportunity probably to either average down and salvage the trade, or potentially try to resurrect that trade if you're in it and it's upside down. But again, I tried to be as clear as I could be about price action being a little bit unreliable there on Tuesday, with it being the last trading day of the year. And again, that tax loss harvesting and low volume trading still being a big factor. So those are the two trade plans we worked on Tuesday's live stream. Yeah, Notre Dame, Georgia, I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be a good game. He posted a Dave Chappelle meme. Yeah, I mean, I try to stay away from anything that is being kind of pumped or manipulated in that regard, Chris. You know that. I like to stick to the stuff that trades the way it, normally trades every day of the year, and not get into all the, meme chasing or trying to find those catalyst type plays. But we can certainly take a look at Unity and figure out, if there is a good trade plan coming to fruition here on it. And that's the only ticker request I've seen so far this morning. So let's start with Unity. If you guys have any other ticker requests or any other questions in general that you want me to take a look at or consider or talk about while I'm going over this stuff, please feel free to start dropping those in the chat. I'm happy to start digging into some of this stuff as we get into the home stretch of our podcast live stream this morning. So, yeah, we can take a look at NVIDIA. Make sure you've got the show chat opened up if you're in Discord. All right. So let's take a look at Unity. Let's see what that's doing with the Roaring Kitty catalyst kind of hanging out there. Is gapping up this morning, 15% move pre-market from where it closed on Tuesday. I do have some levels mapped out for it, at least right now. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at this. It is rejecting this daily level here at 26.51 pretty cleanly pre-market. Do have a gap below. We'll want to pay attention to that, so let me mark these gap levels. So I'm kind of thinking that 26.51 could wind up being our call entry, but let's zoom out, take a look at that before we go committing ourselves to a plan that relies on that level. So that could open up room up to this 28, what is that, 74 level? But I'm not 100% convinced by that. Does seem to be a pretty key level there, though, at 26.51. These couple of rejections came just short, 28.59. Not that much shorter. Same thing with this rejection, though. Yeah, I think there is a level that I didn't have marked on my chart yet that we're going to want to pay attention to as a PT1. If it can break through 26.51, I think we're looking at 28.49 first target. Over that, probably this 30.05 level. And last but not least, I'd be looking for this weekly level up there at 31.53. Can set your stops. This is an interesting potential level. Although I think my 25.77 I've got there is maybe a little bit more accurate. Let's see. You know what? I think this level could be adjusted down slightly. Excuse me. Woo! Sorry about that. Felt that sneeze coming. That's why I went quiet for a second there. Yeah, I think that that's going to serve as a good stop loss average down. So I like that upside trade plan. Downside, starts to get interesting below that. What's that? 24.79. I think that gives us a test of getting into this gap, which would make it a good first price target there at 23.72, and then potential gap fill down to 22.49. Ultimate price target for the downside before I expect to see buyers really step in and a possible bounce. I think this level is a little bit lower right there, 21.18. All right, so that was a pretty easy one. Came together quickly. I like those plans. So let's talk through this real quick. Again, with the Roaring Kitty catalyst in mind. So make sure that you're not getting baited into something that isn't making legit moves and is moving more based on one guy's very covert mention or esoteric mention of, of the word unity with a Dave Chappelle meme. But here is our unity trade plan. What happened? Oh, golly. Yeah, I just saw that flooding in there. That's okay. I like the enthusiasm. All right, let me get this posted in the watch list as well, and then we'll talk through the plan. All right, so what are we looking for here on Unity software? Again, keeping in mind that this is being pumped by some catalyst, or is being pumped by a catalyst with the whole Roaring Kitty thing that Chris pointed out and mentioned earlier as we got into planning this one. That being said, you know, the chart still says what it says, so let's focus on that and figure out how we can use that information. So what are we looking for here on Unity? We're looking for a break over 26.51. That should give us price targets at 28.49, 30.05, and then on up to 31.53 with a stop loss average down at 25.71. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 24.79. That should give us a test of the gap entry there at 23.72. If that doesn't hold, I'll expect that gap to fill down to 22.49, and then a final target if we keep going down below that gap fill at 21.18. That being said, if we do fill that gap, I would be looking to exit my shorts and potentially look at it as a buy the dip opportunity. A lot of times those gap fills do lead to short-term reversals in the price action. So with things moving down during that gap fill process, once that gap fills, I would expect it to reverse and head back to the upside for Unity. But we've got the plan in place, so go forth, execute. I hope you guys stick to the plan on Unity. All right, let's take a look at some of these requests that A King dropped, a number of them. Yeah, A King gave me plenty to work with this morning, but they are all in the same sector, to Chris's point. So let's take a look at NVIDIA, though. I think this will be a good one to keep on watch as we head into 2025. And now that we're out of the tax loss harvesting, low volume doldrums of the end of the year. So let's see how things are setting up for NVIDIA now. Let's see. I'm okay with that being there. Don't need that or that or that. All right, let's clean these levels up real quick. Okay, NVIDIA definitely has been a tricky, volatile ticker going into the end of the year there, but overall, again, not too surprised by some of that. So the real question becomes, where's a solid entry that opens up a good amount of room to the upside and leaves us with a nice little backstop stop loss average down level to use to our advantage if the immediate directional move doesn't continue in our favor. Kind of eyeballing this 137.68 to 138.09 area. Yeah, it makes some decent moves over that. So I think the way I'd set this up for a trade plan would be to use that 137.68 of those two levels as our entry. First target. Take a shot at 140.11. There's some potential at 139.46 for there to be problems, but I think it'll at least get to 140.11 if it can break back over 137.68. Stop loss average down. It's definitely sitting right in this range. I don't want to put this trade plan on too short of a leash, but I think I can give it that little bit of extra room down to 136.32. So the next price target should take us to 141.67. Rejected that a couple of times. It's kind of been the recent key resistance for NVIDIA with these couple rejections right at or very near that level. Over that, I think we can take a shot at, could be a little bit more room on this. Yeah, I think there is. This is an old fib extension, so it may not be the most accurate of levels I've ever drawn because it's kind of a guesstimate when I drew it, but I think 143.41, which is very close to where that level was, looks like a good third price target. So then to the downside, definitely like an entry and first target there at 133.03. Whoops. Second target I'd have at 131.50. Third target. Yeah, I'd be looking at this 129.72 as a third downside target. So, this is what our NVIDIA trade plans look like. Gosh, wrong thing entirely. Here we go. All right, so this is what our NVIDIA live stream plans look like. Let me get this posted in the options watch list real quick. All right, so let's talk through this NVIDIA trade plan. What are we looking for here on NVIDIA? We're looking for a break over 137.68. That should bring us targets at 140.11, 141.67, and 143.41 with a stop loss average down at 136.32. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 134.90. That should give us targets at 133.03, 131.50, and 129.72, being our ultimate downside target with a stop loss average down shared with the upside trade plan there at 136.32. Those are your NVIDIA live stream plans. Let's go. All right, what other ticker requests have we had here? Space Ghost coming in with Hood. We can take a look at Hood. It's all good in the hood. Robin Hood. Robin Hood's up in a range where I have not mapped out many support, well, really any support or resistance levels at this point. Nice back test, though, of that 34.27 level and hold after it broke over it. All right, let's zoom out, start there. Let's see what we've got to work with price action wise. It actually does have some history up in this range from back in the IPO days. But that's probably all we're getting out of at least the weekly chart. Let's see what we've got to work with on the daily. Should start to give us some perspective on where these levels are going to sit. Yeah, I like that as a daily level. Uh, hmm. I think we've got something here, but I'm not 100% convinced. Looking at the daily chart, that it is a daily level. Same thing here. Got a couple of placeholder, let's keep them on watch levels up in that range there. Not really seeing anything else useful from a price action perspective. This is another one that's a bit iffy but looks interesting. All right. That looks like a good daily level, though. Okay, starting to kind of paint a picture here. All right, so what I'm thinking so far is we've got a couple of good entry levels with a stop loss average down running right between them. Here with this 37.05. I like this as a first price target for downside if it breaks below 34.27. Could be a quick PT1-2 for the downside, with them kind of stacked up right there together. But below that, could come down and try to test this small gap that it opened up on this move to the upside. Testing the top of that gap will take us down very close to 26.56. So I like those price targets. Upside, though, these rejections, this double top right here, well, this was a higher time frame. We think there's something there level. Let's see if we move this down. We go back to this historical price action where that sits us. Could probably be our PT1. That's what I'm thinking. Or is it a little bit lower than that even? Hmm. I do have that recent double top though that comes and taps off that level. Yeah, it could just be a tiny little bit lower, but I think that's a good PT1 there at 43.90. Over that, let's see. Sorry, let me get this out of the way. Not that it's gonna... So I think we're going to shoot for PT2 here at 46.17. I think there's still... Sorry, I'm heavily debating with myself if we should have a third price target before we look to hit 50.97. That's kind of what I'm debating in my head right now. There is a third target prior to that. It's probably sitting right around here at 49.06. I think that probably makes for a good third price target. It could stretch for 50.97, but let's not be greedy. It'll already be a nice and profitable trade by the time we hit 49.06. So this is what our hood trade plans are going to look like. Set this up so it's easy to see what the levels are. That looks good. Okay, let's go. So these are our hood live stream plans. And let me get this posted in the options watch list. All right, so let's talk through this real quick. What are we looking for here on hood? Robinhood, we're looking for a break over 40.29 for this to make a push for the upside, and a retest of 43.90 as our first upside price target over 40.29. If it can break through 43.90, then our next target is 46.17, and if we can get through that, then we're looking for 49.06 final third price target to the upside, with a stop loss average down at 37.05. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 34.27. That should bring price targets at 30.81. If we break below that, then we're looking for 29.18 and then on down to 26.56 with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 37.05. Those are your hood live stream plans. Let's go. Tesla dropping. Tesla drop 3. Oh, let's see what's going on with Tesla. Everybody's talking about it. Yeah, it's an interesting pullback kind of. Is it the only name that's pulling back like that right now? Let's take a look at some of the other big name. Yeah, Nvidia's still up nicely pre-market. Let's take a look at Microsoft, still way up, gap up pre-market. Yeah, Tesla's having some issues here this morning. I don't know if that has anything to do with, I know that there's been some infighting in the MAGA world between Musk and some of the MAGA influencers over the what are those, the H-1B? Oh, deliveries missed. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I know that there's been some friction happening in, like I said, in MAGA land between Musk and some of the far right MAGA influencer types, not happy about what they're saying about needing more of those. I think it's the H-1B visas for engineers and stuff like that to try to bring in foreign talent into the tech sector. So I didn't know if that was a factor, but deliveries being missed, that'll do it. That seems like a better, more reasonable catalyst than some political BS kind of stuff. So thanks for the explanation there, Chris. All right, let's see. We've got 5 minutes left before I need to work on the SPY plan. Let's see. A King dropped QQQ, SMCI, and AMD. Let's take a look at SMCI. Could be interesting. I know that they also, I think, didn't SMCI just announce a partnership with NVIDIA on some AI quantum computing stuff recently? I think I saw a headline to that effect somewhere. And then AMD, let's take a look at that. Just kind of wondering what they're all doing and if any of these seem like they're kind of like in a really great setup spot at the moment. Well, between the two of them, at least the two that I am looking at right now, SMCI and AMD, QMCO. What's QMCO? Quantum Corporation? Pure storage. Yeah, relatively low. Yeah, volume is super low, but that's not surprising. Typically trades in the millions, though. Oh, it's QMC. Okay, but I thought SMCI. Maybe I'm hallucinating this, but let's see. SMCI, NVIDIA. I guess they've been partners for a while. Never mind. Continuously collaborates to include NVIDIA GPUs into its server systems. Okay, never mind. I guess that's old news. Never mind. Yeah, it could be both. NVIDIA is partnering with everybody. Maybe okay. Yeah, let's take a quick look at Tesla. I kind of like that idea, Chris. You're not wrong. It could wind up being a buy the dip opportunity. It is catching this 383.75 and bouncing off of it pre-market, very close to PT3 from the last trade plan we did for Tesla. Hide that so it's not in the way. Let me clean this up a little bit. So we did have 378.47 as a third PT. So I think here's what this looks like to me, and I don't want to get caught chasing, but I do like this setup for how it opens up. A decent little move to the downside, but also gives us a smart and I think well-established stop loss there at 378.47 for the downside trade plan. Not saying that, to Chris's point, this isn't ultimately a buy the dip opportunity for Tesla. But let's have a plan in case that dip keeps dipping, right? So that would take us down to 349.04. Then I think, yeah, 335.26, third price targets, and then upside. And again, we're waiting for all that to break and clear out of the way. So giving this room to the downside, because again, we don't want to get caught chasing, especially a name that's been as strong as Tesla has lately. Upside doesn't really start to look promising to me until it gets back over this 413.34 level. I think that gives us a pretty good stop loss average down here at 402.92 and a good first price target up here at 428.89. Over that, yeah, I think it could make a shot or take a shot at 441.22. So then the question becomes, are we looking for 457 or 450.62? This might need to be a little bit lower, actually, the more I look at it. Yeah, 456.59. Yeah, let's take a shot at that third price target. So this is what our Tesla trade plans are going to look like again, giving this one some pretty decent room to the downside before we try to catch continuation going that direction. And then to the upside, oops, copy link. That's what I want. Okay, cool. So let's talk about these Tesla live stream plans, and then we will wrap up our first live stream of 2025. And I think a good live stream, considering that we got four trade plans knocked out this morning. So good start to 2025. Planning wise. All right, so let's talk through these Tesla live stream plans. What are we looking for here on Tesla? We're looking for a break over 413.34 to play this for the upside. That should give us targets at 428.89, 441.22, and 456.59 with a stop loss average down at 402.92. To the downside, we're waiting for a break below 370.24 to try to catch more downside. That should give us targets at 359.93, 349.04, and then on down to 335.26 with a stop loss average down at 378.47. Those are your Tesla live stream plans, and this is your first FOMO live stream on the first trading day of 2025. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I think we're kicking off the new year the right way. Let's keep it up. Keep coming back for these every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. We've got it broadcast on YouTube and, of course, in the Xtrades Discord community. With that being said, I'm going to go get the SPY plan put together, our first SPY plan of 2025, to get that published for the Xtrades Discord community. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Please come back and join us again next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As we always say here on the FOMO live stream, plan your trades, trade your plans, keep your wins big, keep your losses small. Go out there and get some green. I will see you all in the chats. I hope you have a fantastic day and a fantastic year. Let's start 2025 off in the green. Talk to you all soon. See you next Tuesday for the next live stream, and I will be in the Xtrades Discord community until then. So with that being said, take care. I will see you all next Tuesday. Thanks again for joining.